Hey everyone, it's Bender Reading 12, and I had a little bit of a rough day today, so wanted to make a video, see if it would help me feel any better. I'm gonna try to do this one soft spoken, because I'm not sure how well my camera will pick up if I whisper. Right now I'm sitting outside of my home here in beautiful Vermont in the United States. It's kind of misting out right now. It's like little tiny rain sprinkles coming down, and that actually feels really good. Really good on the skin. I'm not sure if you can actually hear it patter on the table. Sorry about the people in the background. That's our neighbors to the right of us, and their kids. Sorry about that, everyone. But the place that we live, so far in the research I've done, the house itself is estimated to be built in the 1900 area. I think it was actually built a little bit before 1900. This barn that you see, and I'll actually pan over a little bit. That barn right there is reported to be the oldest in the town that we live in. When we bought our home, we were told that this barn is approximately 200 years old. And I love that. I love old buildings, old homes, places of historic value. So to have a property with a barn that is that old is totally awesome to me. Totally awesome. And you can see that huge tree behind it. It's actually a tree on our property. And the canopy of the tree actually spreads over on top of two other properties. So it's a huge tree. Unfortunately, we're going to have to probably take it down, or part of it down this summer, because the trunk of it split, and this part over here is actually leaning on our barn, and if it goes anymore, it's going to start pushing our barn. So yeah, we have to take some of it down, which I hate having to do, but we have to. So and underneath that tree back there is a huge wooden playset. I'll try to zoom in without getting you guys too dizzy. You can see part of it right there. They've got like a lookout tower, and they've got swings and some monkey bars, and actually like a little picnic table built into it. That was there when we bought the property. Unfortunately, me and my husband do not have any children who can go out there and enjoy it. But hopefully in the future we will. Anyway. Let's see. Like I mentioned in my introduction to y'all, I have anxiety issues and stuff like that, and today I attempted grocery shopping on my own. It's been a long time since I've done that. And I made it through. I was able to do the shopping trip, but had a lot of anxiety built up about halfway through the trip, and I had to leave really quickly, or as quick as I could. Luckily, it didn't result in any of the pseudo seizures that I have, so that's a good thing. But I just wanted to share a little bit more about me and where I live with you guys in efforts to get to really know each other. I actually had a question posed to me by 3D Whispers. In the second half of my introduction, I mentioned that I do paranormal research and investigation, and that's kind of a passion to me. It is an extreme passion for me. And he was wondering how I got into that. Well, I could talk about that for days on end, but seeing that I only have 15 minutes of post time on YouTube at a time, I can't really go into a lot of stuff like I want to, but actually, kind of how it started out, is I always had, when I was a child, around 4 or 5, I think is when I first really started noticing it, or at least that's when I can first remember. I would always feel like there was someone else around me that I couldn't see or hear. But at that time, it was a comforting feeling. Being as young as I was, I just looked at it as it was God had sent his angels to watch over me. You know, I'd always been a very spiritual person, even when I was very, very, very young. I always used to ask my mom, because of how I looked at God sending his angels to watch over me, I always asked her, why don't we go to church? Why don't we go see God on Sundays, you know? And she never really gave too much of an answer, but I'm guessing it was pretty much because my father didn't believe in God at all, although my mother did. But basically, none of us went because my dad didn't go, you know, which was a little sad, but, you know, dealt with it over the years and stuff like that. In my early teen to mid-teen years, I started experiencing a lot of paranormal stuff. I didn't really realize that it was paranormal at the time. I didn't even really hear of the word paranormal, you know. But I started hearing or seeing, actually, seeing an apparition outside my bedroom door. And it wasn't a very good looking apparition. It was a woman that was about maybe 5'7", and neighbor cat. She was 5'7". Her hair was like jet black, and it was just really messed up, grungy, gnarled hair, and her jeans and her striped shirt were really dirty looking and very torn and tattered, and her skin was extremely pale. It's amazing how pale her skin was. And I looked up at her and I noticed something really, really, really odd. You know, if I hadn't noticed that one thing, I would have thought it was a real person standing there, but she didn't have normal eyes. Sorry about the noise from the neighbors. Her eyes, they didn't have pupils. They didn't have irises. They didn't have white. They were just red, glowing eyes. Well, I can tell you what, that kind of freaked me out. And even then, I was still really seeking answers on spiritual things, and I started doing something, not really knowing what paranormal was or anything like that. All I knew is people would do seances, like seances. So stupid me. Really, really stupid me. I tried doing seances on my own in my bedroom. Not particularly the best thing to be doing. Basically, I was giving an invitation by doing those seances, giving an invitation for anything in the spiritual realm to basically just say, hey, I'm here, I'm gonna mess with you. So I started having a lot of experiences where I'd be totally frightened, terrorized. It seemed like something was always chasing me, trying to get to me. Excuse me. I remember I'd be watching TV in the living room and my parents would be in bed already, and I'd start getting tired, so I don't want to go to bed. But every night just to go to bed was just an onslaught of terror. I would turn the TV off, go down the hall, turn my bedroom light on, go back up to the living room, turn off the living room lights, and run like the dickens to get to my bedroom, because it always felt like someone was right behind me about to grab me. And I knew once I got to my bedroom and crossed the threshold into my room, whatever this was could not touch me. You know? And it was like that for quite a few years. My dad actually still lives in that particular location where I was so terrorized and frightened. As I got older, and after my mom had passed away in 2008, I still had so many questions, and even more so because of losing my mom. I started really looking into the paranormal. I found any book that I could to try to get just basic information and history of paranormal and the spiritualism movement that it came from. And after I started reading and getting the basic knowledge, I said, you know what? I'm tired of just sitting down and watching the shows like Ghost Hunters and stuff like that. I want to be out there doing that. And more than just doing that, I want to be helping other people that were terrorized like I was. So I started looking around online for teams in my local area. I contacted 3 of them, and the last one I contacted called me back. We set up an interview, and the day of the interview, I was welcomed to the team. So that was one of the most proud days of my life, where I finally decided to put up or shut up. So I put up. Well, actually, no. I did what I needed to. I'm not sure how I would word that there, but anyway. As you can tell, I'm not the most eloquently spoken person, but I may do. So, anyway, that's how I got into the paranormal. I hope you found that interesting. And if you want to hear more about that kind of stuff or other things that are really important in my life, let me know. I mean, I'm willing to answer just about everything. So, I hope you enjoyed seeing my backyard. I hope the neighbor noise wasn't too annoying. And I hope that you all have a really blessed day. Thunderman 12, signing off. Bye-bye.